And we're back on another exciting
Oh
episode
my
of
goodness.
Starfleet Boy, where we have a casual and
Oh,
informal
wow.
conversation about Star Trek. This finale might be more exciting for me.
Oh,
Look at that! Oh, hold on, let me take off your comments so people can see what you got there.
you can change your spirit animal now. Now it's Book. Booker is your spirit animal.
Welcome, 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 welcome! Oh my gosh, the whole audience is here. Uh, except Robbie. Robbie hasn't seen it though.
Oh, oh dear.
Hey! Um, Hi, Trekkies. Also, there was a Doctor Who reference. Welcome to Starfleet Boy, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Today, we're focused on Star Trek Discovery Season three's finale, That Hope Is You, Part 2. And PJ will be right back. He's here.
I was expecting him to say part 3 or part 4 or something, but
Hey, I'm right here. Don't you worry about me no little bit. I'm gonna throw that cat right down that shaft.
I can't believe this
See
is
if it makes a
first...
splat.
This is the first stress-free K just changed their name to Stressed Out K. That really worries me. Oh my gosh! I hope you get stress-free after watching our live stream. Who wants to do the episode summary?
I think you should.
I should do it.
Yeah.
Greatest episode of Star Trek Discovery. Greatest season of Star
Okay,
Trek
stop.
Discovery.
You're demoted. You can't do it anymore.
But I died though.
It's the summary. It's not the opinion time. Give us a succinct summary.
All right, fine.
His summary is good things happen, good things happen, good things happen, good things happen.
10 out of 10. Picard out of 10.
Osiris trying to get the F out of Starfleet headquarters / the Federation headquarters, and so a shoot 'em up battle starts with the Voyager taking the lead, and Osiris is able to disable the shield, get out. She's threatening to poison everyone with pesticide. I don't know how that works exactly. I don't know how you can not seal pesticides out with your HVAC system in the future, because that seems really weird.
You don't know
because there's no reason you should be sucking air from space. But that aside, Braxton's here. What?
Hey guys! Evening greetings. How's it going?
Good. This is like a panel. This is like a legit panel today. Very, very cool.
Hey PJ. Hey Father E. How's it going?
Oh, who's that adorable cat? Oh my gosh.
Oh, this is Esri.
I don't think we've ever seen your pussy on screen before.
Oh my.
What? That's acceptable in America.
I'm not saying it isn't.
He is super duper shy around, like people who are actually in front of him. But yeah, yeah.
He likes the camera. That's really cool.
But I named him. Thank you. I named him after Esri Dax because, he was very shy. When he was a kitten, but he found his voice, and now he's just like out here on camera.
That's so cool. Practically, our whole audience is here. So audience, if you want to come on, let me know. I can have 10 people. That's so awesome. Braxton, I was just doing the summary, and I was being snarky about the pesticide, so I'll continue, unless you want to continue the summary. Ooh.
God, what is he doing?
Oh. I don't want to interrupt midstream. Continue.
Okay. I'll go. I'll just finish the summary. So Burnham's like, no, don't DDT people. Let's work this out. So she appeals to Admiral Vance. Oh, the Navarran fleet shows up, by the way, which we get a glimpse of, and it kind of looked interesting. I was curious.
A glimpse? Like nothing at all, really.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. So the Navarran fleet arrive. Admiral Vance is like, we can't let Discovery get away. It's too precious. So Burnham appeals to him and says, trust me. And so he does. And so they warp away with the Viridian, heading towards the dilithium planet. And on the way there, Osira decides, let's just slowly let's slowly take the life support off of the deck that the crew is on, which is trying to retake the ship. and so they start choking, and they're working on stuff to try to get that going. To try to get out of that situation. Burnham's trying her best to like figure out a way to stall and buy time so that she can enact her awesome insurrection plan. And they decide to take Book into sickbay and put truth drugs in him so that and that weird thing on his head that makes you like into a zombie and hurts you apparently because you're an empath. And so, yeah, anyways, they get down there, and meanwhile, on the dilithium planet in the heart of the Verubin Nebula, we have Sukal and...
the dog needs to go out, but not right now, just whenever.
Oh, no worries. Thanks, Father.
I'm taking the dog out. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I thought I was muted.
That's what happens on the planet. So the dog needs to be taken out on the planet, on the dilithium planet, literally. Which, by the way, they did mention really quickly, Father. I was gonna save this for your stream and the Gornags, but they did mention a Gormagander pup.
Yeah, you were right. You were right. Yeah. I was totally wrong. I thought those were the.
The Picard
orchids from Star Trek Picard.
Right on. All right.
I thought they had used the Gormagander model to create like a new thing. I thought they had like just basically used that the model that they already have and they modified it, but apparently not.
It was a Gormagander pup, as a matter of fact, is what they referred to it as, I think, in the episode. Anyways, Culber and Saru are trying to get through to Sukal because time's running out. It's evident that the program, the Hollow program, is failing. The Kaminoran ship is also failing the structural integrity. After 120 years, it decides to start failing after this latest scream that Sukal did. Apparently it damaged it. And then what happens? Let's see. Oh yeah, so Adira arrives as a Zahian, and we see Gray, and I started crying like a baby because it was awesome. Not only do we see Gray, so does Hugh, and so does everyone else. So somehow the Hollow program is able to bring Gray into existence for everyone else to see. Anyways, they're working all this out to try to figure out how to get Sukal to basically come to terms with the condition and situation that he's in, and to hopefully get him to end the program, or lead them out somehow so that they can evacuate and get rescued. They're hoping they get rescued. Anyways, so back on the Discovery, Burnham rescues Book first and hobbles around the hallways. Die Hard Part 2 with Book, and they go around just killing these, what are those guys called? Regulators. They go around killing these regulators left and right. There's so many regulators. Regulator. That's Tron Legacy, right?
No, I think that's Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre. Oh, sorry.
Warren G.
Oh, Warren G. Okay, sorry.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I used to have Dr. Dre headphones.
Yes.
I do not have Dr. Dre.
Warren G and Nate Dogg. I have a small gripe about that, by the way. Burnham's like, computer, beam all the regulators. Like, how does the computer know how to identify
Wait, we haven't gotten to that part
what
yet.
a regulator is? Go ahead.
All right, fine. So Burnham and Book are on a mad dash to try to get to the computer core to reset the computer system. Meanwhile, the crew are slowly choking, but Owo can hold her breath for 10 freaking minutes at a time, which is extraordinary. I don't know how...
She's a boss.
Yeah, she is already a boss, but this elevates her to super boss standards.
When I thought Owo was gonna die, I said, "Oh no, Owo!"
Didn't she say that where she's from, she would die for conchs? She would die. She would die for conchs, like she would die for shells. Like that's how she holds her.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I thought you said die for like cocks. That's what I heard. Did anybody else hear that?
No, I heard conchs.
Oh, conchs. Okay, I still didn't know.
My mouth is not nearly so lewd.
Not as much as Starfleet Boy.
But OO grew up on a what was it? They mentioned it in New
Yes,
Eden.
I have. Hold on.
I thought I actually missed something
have
when she
it.
started holding, like when she was fine and everyone else started kind of
She
fainting.
grew up on a
I thought, did I
Luddite
miss something?
colony.
Yeah, I thought she was like
A Luddite colony. Yeah, and apparently her family didn't. They were kind of like the Amish, I guess. They rejected technology and lived off the land, type of thing. Is that
Yes.
what it was?
Yes.
And then
Evan,
maybe she. Why did she have to hold her breath in her youth? Like, was that a thing? Like she practiced like.
Well, if you're free
deep sea
diving, if
diving?
you're Luddites, yeah, maybe if you're Luddites, you don't go. You don't go in the. You don't want to use like diving gear or whatever. Who knows? But that's interesting. Actually, I'd love to know more about the
Well,
Luddite
maybe
colony.
even if you're human, maybe alien planets kind of like change your physiology in some way as well. Like growing up on them, being born
Are
on
there
them. I don't know.
people who can hold their
Generation
breath for
wise,
like a really long time though? Like today?
Oh
on
yeah,
Earth?
there is. Yeah.
oh
yeah.
yeah,
There's,
for sure.
there's some cultures that like do like a lot of like fishing, like some islander cultures, and like I don't know if it's actually 10 minutes, but I know people can do at least like
No, you-
5 or 6 minutes.
You can develop over time breathing techniques that allow you to retain more oxygen in your blood and actually go underwater for longer periods of time than most. You can train yourself, but I think like maybe I don't know about 10, 15 minutes or anything like that seems a bit
See,
much.
the world record of so underwater, keeping your breath is 22 minutes and 22 seconds, which is insane.
Whoa!
Wow, we got
Wow.
fact checker
Damn.
Sean. Yeah.
I can,
Wow,
I can
that
only
is
do
amazing.
21 minutes, so I'm pretty impressed.
By the way, oh
I
my
mean,
gosh,
you're still a sub boss. You're not a boss, but you're
let me
still there.
finish the summary so we can say hi to the audience, and then we can go on to the to the discussion. But that was a really good break in the discussion. So anyways, Oo can breathe for 10 minutes, which comes in handy later on, sort of. They're trying to override the system, but they just can't. So then Burnham sends out a coded message to Tilly about birthdays and fireworks, and from that she knows that what you need to do is destroy the nacelle bridge or the connection to the nacelle or the magnetic connectors to the nacelles and whatever. And so Father's laughing. And so that's the
The
plan. So
magnetic
they all
field that they
yeah,
want
the
to
magnet, the
that they
thing
want to
connecting
disable.
the invisible
This
cool
thing.
thing that was
This thing.
yeah, that thing exactly. It looks like that. Anyway, so they they decide that that's the plan, and everyone basically starts dying on the way to the nacelles, even though they had this like whole thing like you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. So it comes down to Oo. Oo makes it just in time to plant the bomb, but not enough time to make it out, and then boom, Zora, the robot, the cutest robot ever, the command version. uh, the Dot 23 comes over and saves Oo and is able to drag Oo all the way back to the hallway where the other people are so that Oo could die with them because there's no hope that maybe the air would come back. No, just kidding. But anyways, the nacelle thing explodes. It drops the ship out of warp. Yeah, it drops the ship out of warp, and then they decide. So then Osira's like, "Oh no, f that! Scoop her up, Viridian." So they dock the Discovery into the Viridian itself to protect it, so they can keep that spore technology. Anyways, a huge fight ensues in this like cavernous other dimension that looks like a turbo lift shaft. And I won't say how they get into that dimension. It has something to do with Time Lords and technology like that. But also, actually, there is in Future Tense and Enterprise. Thank you, Don Paris. There is reference to bigger on the inside technology. So by the 32nd century, this now makes sense. Like it didn't make sense in the 23rd century, but in the 32nd century, it could make sense that you have these huge cavernous storage areas inside of a ship that are in another dimension. So,
Did
anyways,
anyone else get the vibe that scene with the elevator stuff was very reminiscent of Khan and Spock in Into Darkness,
Oh
where
yeah.
you're where you're
Oh
watching
my
it?
god.
Oh wow.
He actually came.
Wait a minute. This isn't Trek culture. What is this? I don't know.
Hey, excuse me. This is a non-spoiler chat, so you can leave.
Toddy
That's
gets
enough.
bumped.
That's
Actually,
enough.
Toddy gets bumped.
I get demoted because Kit Walski.
Yeah, you get
arrived.
demoted because Kit Walski's here.
I don't. Well, I think that's probably appropriate. So
I gotta open my own channel, Trick Station, and I'll supersede you guys.
good luck with that. So we'll be putting you in the ground.
This is
Right. How are we
amazing,
doing? How's
We're
everybody doing?
Good.
Good. How are you?
We're still into his summary.
It's almost over. They eject the
Oh my-
core.
God.
Book can suddenly.
You just got to the ejecting the core. Okay.
We're
I'll
stalling
wait.
for you to get here. Book can suddenly fly the Discovery spore drive. They spore jump, save Saru, Hugh, and the gang. Everyone's reunited. Everything's all good, and Captain Burnham is born. We get Captain Burnham. That's it.
Captain Burnham is born.
Yes. Yay!
Captain
All right,
Burnham.
I'm gonna open with that. I'm gonna open with the fact that I'm so happy that Captain Burnham is a thing now, and I want it to stay that way. I don't want like a new captain every season. It's like now we can finally have that promotional artwork with all of the captains.
Excuse me. She's going to get demoted next season, and they're going to have another captain. I don't know. What are you talking about? Yeah. What are you getting at? Yeah.
I will send physical letters.
I don't know what you think. I don't know what show you think you're watching. It's not an official show unless somebody gets demoted. Okay, that's how that works.
We'll demote Sub Captain Tilly now.
That's the Discovery MO.
That's
Is
right.
Tilly gonna stay first officer, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't
Yeah.
first off. Yeah, she will though. She will stay first officer. That she wasn't.
Yeah, she absolutely will. I mean, her role in the Spore Drive room as super smart technician lady has been replaced with
by
Adira. Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah,
I'm
it
fine
makes
with
sense.
that, and I'm fine with her being. I don't know. I'm fine with it. It's whatever. So. it is
And her
what it
and
is.
Michael are best friends, so it's going to make interesting conflicts.
Yes, because they're not always going to agree. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting.
Also,
Are
now
they-
that Saru's gone, she needs someone to be mad at her, and it's Stamets.
Is Saru
it-
really gone though? Is he gonna
Well, I
stay
mean,
gone for
he's
long?
Doug Jones is coming back. They said it in the Ready Room. He's definitely coming back next season. So
Yeah.
Saru will
Yeah.
be back. So that'll be interesting. But in the meantime, though, like Stamets was giving her like a dirty look at the end when she was trying to come up and say hi and reunite with all of them.
Oh,
yeah.
Like-
Oh, yeah. He was giving her
Yeah.
Stink
Yeah.
Eye McGee. There's no
Yeah,
doubt about
he's a
that.
little pissy there at the end.
Yeah, he is a little pissy about it, which I mean I guess they're trying to set that up for next season, but I don't know. I mean how much conflict could there really be? I mean, she literally saved the day and everyone's back alive, and so it's all good. So you know.
I think if he can forgive Tyler for breaking his boyfriend's neck, he can forgive Michael.
He's
But
like,
you know, Michael
why do you
Burnham
keep
assaulted
trying to
him."
kill my family? Why do you keep doing this to me?
Michael Burnham, Vulcan neck pitched him and knocked him out. She took away his choice and his agency. You know, I totally understand.
That's true. You're not wrong. No
He's like-
choices for you.
Yeah.
Michael, we came 800 years for you. For you.
He's
Yeah,
not,
that was really-
he's not wrong. He's literally
Not
not wrong.
Not just that, the admiral's even like, sorry, dude, but Burnham was right, and you're not going back to the.
I have never liked Stamets. All right, he's not a character that I enjoyed, but I felt I was so distraught by that scene. He felt so alone, and I felt so sad for him. He's on this station with no one that he knows, and the admiral tells him, you know, Burnham did the right choice. Take him away. They basically like put him on a shuttle and fly him somewhere else. And he felt so lonely, and it was just that I felt sad for him in that moment. And I've never really cared for him, but that hurt me. I didn't
You know,
like
I'd also argue that Stamets is actually not likable. I think that Hugh and the relationship makes him likable and makes you able to identify with him. But he's really a jerk.
He is.
Yeah, but he's
he's
written
like-
to be that way.
Right, he's always been a jerk. Like if you go back and watch season 1, he was a huge jerk in season 1, and they've toned him down, and they really humanized him. I think the reason why Toddy is feeling such a serious sadness for him is because they really humanized his character this season with his relationship with the deer. Like all the times that the two of them were together were some of the best best conversations throughout the entire season, especially like their first conversation where he goes and like finds her and they have that whimsical music kind of playing in the background or whatever. Like that's a really great sequence. So he's got a lot more humanization this season, which I think is good. I think
Yeah,
it's
it's
really
like they
there's
needed to
something-
make him a parent for us to like find a way to like him. It was
Connect
like,
with him in some way.
yeah, by like making
Yeah.
him like the family man and like this weird family that they have with you have tardigrade DNA hybrid man married to a mushroom zombie trying to raise a girl with a slug in her belly who is dating a ghost.
It's,
I mean,
that
so it's
sounds,
just a normal Star Trek relationship.
But I love that though. That's actually like I think that's one of the strongest dynamics of the entire show. Out of like all the different
Yeah.
character relationships, I think it's like the Colbert Stamets family stuff is what I like. I dig the most.
the
Yeah.
way you
Keep it grounded,
described
but-
that was like a David Lynch sitcom.
But did he say anything incorrect?
What's-
No.
I will say though, and this isn't coming from me, it wouldn't have much weight because Kolber's my favorite character. But this came from Wife on the Tube, and she said I feel like Stamets has weighed down Kolber or has like dragged Kolber down as a character throughout like the entire run of Discovery. She kind of felt like Kolber, they could have done so much more with him, and he could have been such like a more interesting character if Stamets weren't around, kind of like weighing him down. And I kind of get what she's coming at because Stamets, aside from his I'm the Spore dude, they had nothing else planned for him from the get-go. So it is good that they're giving him like the family aspect now.
What do you guys think of the sphere data? Stress Free K says the sphere data is only helping with the most minimum impact in the future, like a protective parent.
It's Gandalf.
It's not what I like. How do you go from this to Zora? Or does Zora is just that? Is that an alternate timeline? What's the deal with Calypso? What's the final word on Calypso? Ketwalski?
I would say at this point, one of the more likely scenarios of what Zora was a possible viewpoint into one of the solutions that Michael's mom was attempting to try to hide the sphere data from Control. That's what I'm thinking. That's what that is. Because if I recall correctly, she said she's tried it like 800
billion
different ways, like all these crazy different ways. It's possible that one of the ideas she had was to hide the discovery in a nebula. That's possible. I do think that might be the only way to really go about that. And to the point of the comment of saying it's like a protective parent, I don't even know. It's like almost like a parent / childlike in some regards. Like it's almost like a new life form trying to figure out how to interact with sentient life in this way more than it being this giant sphere that looks crazy and it's trying to communicate and trying to figure that out. So it's like an old being but a young being. We're talking about a Benjamin Button type situation here.
Yeah. I like what Dom said it here and also on the Trek Central stream, the Klabauterman idea with like the little beings, like, you know, the dot 23s represent the little beings that form to help.
Officially referred to as Zora dots, by the way.
Zora dots.
Yeah, the Zora dots. That's what we're sticking with.
Z-Dot sounds very rapper.
Yeah,
But
Z-Dots, yeah. Z-Dots is the rapper's name, yeah.
do you guys think that Zora, and I know I don't want to just throw this into speculation, but do you guys think that Zora is going to stay in like the dot 23s or going to reintegrate into a Discovery, or do you think they can actually find a way to give Zora a body for at least some of the season's runs of Discovery and have her like walking around as a character, and then eventually, if they want to tie it into Calypso somehow, they could put her back in the ship or something. But
I think they're going to put her back in the ship. Sorry, go ahead.
I didn't. I don't quite understand what happened with Zora going into the dots. So when the last one died and told Oh, it's been an honor to serve you or whatever, was that the last of Zora dying?
No,
We
I
don't know how
think
many
so.
there are because there was
Okay,
like 3 that got shot at the beginning of the episode.
yeah, I had an issue. From what I understood at the end of like not this episode but the previous one, she had put herself in multiple dots because there's so much information that it can't be stored in one of them. It has to be stored in multiple. But then they all start blowing up, and then there's one left, and it seems to be like the final one. So I'm thinking, is there a lot of sphere data that's lost? Is like, did they salvage just this one last dot, and this is the one last piece of information, like the chunk that keeps Zora sentient, but they've lost all of the information or so much of
Unclear.
the
I
It's
think it's all
unclear.
there.
Really, ultimately, yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's not clear. Because actually, I interpreted it entirely differently from the end of the previous episode. The only dot that's talked was the one with the yellow eyes,
The other
the
one's just
command
connected.
dot. So I thought that she was just in that one dot, and she was then controlling the other dots with her capability. Like she was using the way the dots normally talk. That she took that over and was controlling all the other dots, and Zor was just in the one dot. But maybe that's how I interpreted it. But your interpretation also is just as effective, which is that she spread them around all the dots.
Well, I'm
I
thinking
don't know.
one dot doesn't have enough storage capacity to fit the entire sphere data, even if it is 32nd century tick. But then,
Well, even if you go into the dot, it's probably entirely hollow. That's probably what it is. Very much like the Discovery. It's entirely hollow on the inside, and there's just all this space in there. You can put whatever you want. You can have a roller coaster
inside
in
the
there.
Discovery is an entire Into Darkness movie. Right?
No.
That's inside the Discovery.
It's an Epcot ride, is what it is. It's the world of tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
But but I would imagine that Zora is so intelligent that it's like in the Discovery's hard drive or whatever, and it can just control and manipulate mechanical things that are a part of Discovery. That's the way that I took it. Because I feel like Zora's like really high level intelligence. I feel like it doesn't make sense to download yourself into little vulnerable bots,
Little
you
trash
know,
bag,
like-
little trash can droids, right?
I just feel like Zora just can manipulate them, and as they are destroyed, if like as long as the Discovery has more, Zora can just keep animating them.
I was hoping for a showdown between the Emerald Chain program and Zora. Like I was hoping for like some kind of, Zora wins out somehow, and but I don't mind that Burnham just put a bunch of cards here and there and press buttons and it
It's very Star Trek.
reinitiated, but
It's
yeah,
very like
Star Trek.
2001.
Wasn't it implied in a previous episode that Zora somehow hid themselves in in the old movies, in the old
Yeah.
Buster Keaton
something
movies,
like that, which is possible.
and
It's all data.
that they said it was just like a small thing, so don't worry about it. I think in this century that the sphere data, which took up so much space on a hard drive or storage unit back in the day, would only be insignificant at this point. So the fact that this whole artificial intelligence can hide in that in the old movies in that area and kind of mask itself, I do think it then went into the dots and ultimately died. That's my belief. We're gonna have to wait until season 4 to really
Reno
confirm
resurrects it
that.
at the end.
Everyone's
and it
belief
seems
is
to-
valid at this
Yeah,
point.
it's very funny. We'll find out next season if Zora's still around. By the way, they mentioned the bird that's in another Calypso reference. They mentioned that bird, the singing whatever it's called.
Yeah.
The Alcorian Sorrowhawk.
Thank you.
I wrote it
Thank
down.
you.
It's in my notes.
Or
you.
or also known as the bird, which is going to be the plot point of we had the burn, now we're going to have the bird.
Is that the great bird of the galaxy?
That's right. Well, that's right. It is. Yeah.
They had that nice little post credit. Before credit sequence with a nice quote from Gene Roddenberry.
They did.
At the end. That was cool. Earl Grey Trekkie says now it makes sense why Tilly became first officer, so Burnham could become captain. What did you guys think of her stepping down? Thoughts on that?
I think I said that was going to happen.
Absolutely appropriate and actually kind of funny when she tells Michael's like, "Here, go ahead, take it." It's like,
Yeah.
I know I did my best, and she did do her best under the circumstances, and you can't put too much blame on her. They pulled through at the end, but she knew she was in over her head, and it's great that they acknowledged that at the end.
And putting aside the fact that Saru designated Tilly as acting captain, technically speaking, at that point, Commander Burnham is the highest ranking officer on that ship, and she's the most experienced. So she's the most fitting for that position.
It's actually protocol.
It was just logical. If maybe Ensign Kim would have held on to that position. No, I'm captain now. but no.
And they've been setting up the whole season that Burnham is more suited to be captain than anyone else, because in episode 5, when she takes command and goes to the seed ship, like, she's the best captain in that whole season. And then you get Tilly, and it's like, we're not sure about her. And then they really do wrap that up well by acknowledging the fact that, maybe it is Michael, because they did set up that Saru was probably not being as objective as he should be, and that even Culber and Burnham in the last episode, or the Sukal episode, have to tell him, like, have to guide him, and they really shouldn't, because he is the captain. So it makes sense at the end to me that
I mean, she's
she is
definitely the
captain.
best person. Yeah, she's
But
the
those
best person
uniforms,
for the job.
those uniforms don't go well with the design,
That's my-
interior
that's my-
design of the ship.
That's my tweet. I've been wanting them to wear the new uniforms, the gray uniforms, for like the entire show, and now I feel really guilty for not
Yeah.
liking it. But once
then
they
you
put them
see it,
on,
and you're like,
once they're on the
"Oh,
bridge,
that's
I'm
why they
like,
didn't do
oh,
it."
it kind of clashes with the bridge, and I don't like it. So I hope that they get like an
God,
updated.
you want
like,
everything.
I
Like,
know,
he
but
was
I know,
begging
it's
all
so
season
bitchy.
on these.
Oh my god,
on
give me
these
the uniforms.
discussions.
They get the uniforms.
Yeah.
Give me a different.
Yeah.
Put some
Yeah,
paint
give
on
me a
the
different,
wall.
like, all
I
season,
feel
the whole
guilty.
season.
It's ugly.
It was
Yeah.
Okay, so they have like a really really slick Kelvin timeline Apple Store data core now, right in the center of like the
Is that
huge
what that
nebulous
is? Or
void. that is-
whatever that is,
is
the wall of
discovery.
data that eats people and then doesn't.
Right, but
That
it's,
was
but
weird.
The point, the point is, it's very white and very slick and very modern, and the gray uniforms would look great in that. So I hope they update the bridge somehow. They give us like Discovery A, just like every season.
They
give
don't
us a
have
new-
to. They don't have to
Discovery
in the
B.
beginning of the season. They say the programmable matter looks familiar, but they could just say update desktop, and the Discovery could have a brand new bridge look just like that. The whole ship's
Not,
been
not everyone can
refitted.
update their own position how you want. Then like everyone's
Yeah, you can.
like
Yeah, you
oh,
can.
s-
Yeah,
looks
you
perfect.
totally can. They even
Yeah,
mentioned
they
it. They
said
said
that.
they just
They
made it
did
look
say that.
familiar.
Everybody can do it.
Yeah.
Anyone can
I
do
know
it.
they can,
make it
but I
look-
wouldn't have it as a captain. I wouldn't let like this dude have his console blue and this dude have his
Why?
console red.
It'd
Oh
be the
wow,
original-
morale on the
Yeah.
USS Toddy is
Right.
going into
Isn't
the
that
dumps
good?
for some reason. I don't know why.
Just asking for a mutiny.
Yeah, I know. You do the desktop I tell you to use. Okay.
Dennis says, I'm not too surprised Burnham, the main character of the show, was promoted to captain. I'm just surprised it took so long. I actually, like, it was such an emotional thing for me because it took so long. I was like, oh my, I was overwhelmed with emotion. Like, they did a great job, I thought, with the shot of the rank first, and then the cool headshot, and then like her sitting in the chair and then saying let's fly, or what's up or whatever she says, and then everyone checks in and
What's popping?
what's poppin'? I wish she did say that actually.
What's popping? Don't mind me, just watch.
but then like I just loved how everyone was like I captain and all that. It all worked for me. Like they really got me personally in that scene. I thought they pulled it off perfectly. So yeah, and it did weigh on me that it was 3 seasons. Like,
I've been
as
telling you
last.
all season that they were going to do that. I was telling
It's
you
like
this is
one
how
of those
season
things
3
that,
would
yeah,
end.
well, it's like one of those things that it's gonna happen, but like I didn't realize like the execute. I guess that's not the surprise. It was just that the execution of it was like not how I thought it was gonna go, and so I
Yeah.
was pleasantly surprised about that.
So my only Michael ending as a captain, it seemed like the natural conclusion of her character at some point throughout the show, regardless of anything. Like that was what her overall series arc was going to be.
Like a
Because she didn't
finale,
start
or
there.
didn't it?
I thought that it was going to be closer to the end of the show, less so much that we're going to have a whole nother season, potentially a 5th season after that she's going to be the captain. So I was a little surprised by it. And I took it as a bit of a gut punch because Saru's my favorite character. So him being sidelined to sitting on a park bench with Sukal, who's like this adult child that he's taking care of, which is a little weird, was like, hey, like there's nothing wrong with it. Like I want her to be the captain at some point. It was just like I'm battling the two emotions at the same time because it's like, damn, I really don't like how they did Saru like that, but it's like also I'm glad that she's in the captain's chair. So it's like I'm dealing with both things in my mind at the same time. It's very stressful for me. I'm stressing out about it. Okay, I'm stressing.
One of the things that I was really looking forward to that I got with this episode, I wanted to see Michael Burnham kick some ass. Like Michael Burnham can fight Klingons in hand to hand combat. Dude, I
She
wanted
has
to
that
kick some ass, dude.
Vulcan
And
martial
you know,
arts.
and I really liked it. Actually, I didn't even mention this in my review, but I really did like the toss in about the no win scenario. It wasn't word for word, which was good because that guy wouldn't know the phrase, but it was a great connection to Kirk, which I think really opens up that idea that people have, and this is a constant conversation, which is that because she's a female character, some people do feel a certain way about her being able to do certain things, whereas male characters, they don't necessarily get the same level of scrutiny. But I like the fact that they connected Kirk to her, which is like, yeah, I mean, if you put Captain Kirk in that situation, you know he's going to just do something, whether it's with his mind or with his fists, he's getting out of that situation. Right, exactly. So I like that they connected those two characters together with that simple line of like, I don't believe in the no-win scenario, bitch. And, you know, and then she literally kicked some ass and then got the hell out of there with her boyfriend, with her boo.
That was pay. You say bitch, but that whole fight was like it was payback for the bitch slap that she got on the bridge. Like the moment she enters the bridge, like Osiris is like, "Pam!" Like, oh god, that was brutal. Anyway,
she did slap her in the face. I forgot about the slap. That's true.
It was really harsh, and like throughout the whole fight, I was like, "Oh, she's gonna get it back. She's gonna slap her at some point." But she didn't.
Yeah.
But,
and then they pushed her into that weird digital nano waterfall, and it almost killed her. So, because she was choking to death on literal data bits.
Throwing up the CG.
Yeah, she was. That's like someone's personal, photos or something.
Who's
Like
that?
in Superman 3.
Oh, we're getting a feedback.
Yeah, who's got that stream on? Shut that stream off.
Cut
I
it.
I can find out.
Is it
I
me?
have to find out. I have a way to find out. Here
Is
we
it
go.
better now?
Yeah, it's better
Yes.
now. It was you.
I
I knew it.
I put up this image because that scene where
Oh, here, let's
Syra
see.
pushes her into the programmable matter.
Oh
I was
yeah,
like,
that's the
that's-
chicken Superman 3.
It totally brought me back to Superman.
Yes,
3.
totally Superman 3. Absolutely
Wow.
Superman 3. Yes, 100% Superman 3
Yeah.
situation there. Yes.
I
Wow.
found that. I actually found that part very unintentionally funny. I mean, I don't know if it was intentional. Maybe it could have been.
There's a bit of humor in that part. I mean, when she spits out the programmable matter, that's kind of funny.
I
just didn't.
this is
I
not
don't.
critical.
I don't know how she. I don't know how Sarah thought she would die though. Apparently, you couldn't.
Yeah.
Like it's just. Yeah, it was like I knew she wasn't gonna die.
It's
It was
it's just CG actiony nonsense. It makes
And
no
I
sense.
really don't say this as criticism, but I don't believe that anyone in the production team, like the person that was doing that CG, the person that was editing the shots, the producers that were watching the shots, truly believed that was like cool and thrilling. Like they must have known that there was a comedic aspect to what they were doing, right?
No,
Because
so, yeah.
no,
they
they totally thought that was cool.
I don't believe
Yeah,
that.
They're
So,
writers'
so the
room.
one
Why
thing they
would you
they
play that
totally
as a
thought it was
joke?
cool and it was funny. Yeah, like I don't know how you can't think that. Actually,
What's cool
and I
is
never.
that she built her through the program. That's cool.
They were trying
She-
too hard to
Yeah.
make it cool. They were trying too hard to push the envelope, make it like the coolest thing ever. We're gonna dial up the spectacle. We're gonna dial up the action. We're gonna dial up the CGI. We're gonna dial everything up to 11. We're gonna outdo what we did at the end of season 2 when we had 1,000 ships coming out of the Enterprise like it's a goddamn clown car. 1,000 ships
10,000
coming out the
ships.
back of
Yeah,
it.
that's
We're
right.
gonna outdo all of that. We're gonna outdo all of that. This is like this big, huge
actually-
CGI nut bust of
I need more dialogue.
bullshit.
I actually think it's the opposite, Father. I think they toned it down for this season, like compared, like they weren't that. I think actually
I would
this
not
worked-
describe this as toned
They
down.
invented the nebula inside the ship instead of having one outside the time. Like,
It was less of a grander scale, but
Scale,
the
yeah.
action was just as intense.
Just as
I would
intense,
say.
Yeah, it was more personal scale.
Right, it was
yes.
much more fist fighting, and I mean, you also had the fun sequence inside of the roller coaster where they kick what's his face out of there, and he falls. I don't know, either 10 or 10,000 feet to his death, and it's just I guess the dots are gonna have Zordot's gonna have to go shovel that right off the fucking bulkhead.
you don't kick someone into like the void. It's not a Star Trek season anymore. Like you have to
I just
have
want
that.
some. I want someone to say I have had enough of you and just rehash that line. Dennis Bowden.
Get away from me, you bitch!
Can we talk about Gray for a second? What is she what are they? Oh, Gray is he actually?
Gray's
can be
he.
Gray is
Gray's
he,
he.
him.
Gray's
Yeah.
he.
So
Yeah.
all right. So can we talk about Gray for a second? What is he, and why does he have agency, and why could Hugh et al. See him in the Hollow? What they've done to their character bothers me so much. Okay, so let us know why that bothers you in more detail. But what I think is that Gray is now established as a non-corporeal being. So because of the Trill link, Adira can see Gray and no one else could before. But once you got to the Hollow interpreted that life form in the form of Vulcan. By the way, badass for Ian Alexander, like looked crazy cool as a Vulcan with the
Yeah.
hair and everything like that.
Yeah.
By the way, Ian Alexander identifies as they, them, but the character is a he. Okay, so anyways, if you watch Jesse Gender's latest review, she tells you everything.
Okay. No, I need to get like a
Shout out
need
to
to get
Jesse.
these things right because
Yeah,
I keep
exactly.
messing. I try so hard to get it right, and then I'm like in the middle of talking for 2 hours. It comes out wrong.
I
really
messed
hard.
up Adira earlier. I think when I was talking about the worm and their belly, I think I said her belly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
apologies
It's okay to
for
mess
that.
it up as long as you are open to being corrected, which is fine. That's
Can
what
I just say that Adira looks pretty awful in that Zahian makeup?
it looked
I don't know,
clownish, it's true.
It doesn't look good.
It didn't. I didn't. The issue with the makeup really is the fact that when you do the makeup, I think it needs to be recognizable. And when I saw
I didn't know it was
Adira
Zahian, yeah.
with the makeup, I was like, "What is that? What is that race? I don't know that race." And then I had to like really think about it, and then I was like, "Oh, that doesn't look the way it did in season."
It's
Okay.
because it was very pronounced on like Adira's pale face.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like on what was she called, Poe? Poe
Yeah,
has a darker face, and the makeup was like toned down a bit. So I think this contrasted a lot more. So yeah, you do get like a clown face kind of vibe initially. Like what is this?
Right.
Oh, I remember Zahian or something.
Yeah. We had
Zahian.
Zahian and Picard also in the first episode.
Yes, and he also didn't have any of the warrior paint on, but it's okay. Maybe not all Zahians are made the same. I don't know.
But going back to Gray, that was like my biggest issue. I really wanted to. I love both of the actors' performances, and I love the love story and all that stuff. So my biggest issue was like, oh, we're gonna get another like return to life. But apparently, I kind of like it the way that it ended up because Gray is a non-corporeal being that exists. So it's just a matter of somehow making Gray able to be seen by everyone. So that's going to be an interesting challenge for next season, how they're going to come up with a way to,
I don't
like,
even think we're going to
do
see
that.
that. I think it's going to be between seasons.
Oh, like next season Gray will just be
Gray will just be there. That's what I think.
There's a really easy fix for it if you've
They've-
watched Star Trek Voyager.
Right, you just get the thing on the arm. You're good to
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Mobile
Yeah.
emitter.
Yep, that's what they're going to go
There
with.
you
They're going to do
go.
some mobile emitter. I mean, in utero, whatever, split gene. They're going to come up with some techno babble, and they're going to be like, "Gray's
That's
just
fine. That's fine. Whatever.
It's whatever.
Moving
Whatever.
on.
Right. Whatever.
I
Moving on.
I do want to say though
they
that
could-
it would have been interesting. It would have been like I would have bought it a little more if they didn't do the ghost thing and if they had really presented it as Gray is a non-corporeal being from the get-go. Like Gray is a non-corporeal being, and we need to kind of find the body at some point. And I think maybe that would have helped. Maybe it would have helped you a bit more, Starfleet Boy.
I think they should go down the route of Picard and find a vessel.
Gollum.
Yes.
Gollum.
Put him in a
1000%.
Gollum suit.
Put him in a dot.
Put him in a dot. Put him in a Zora dot. There you go.
You know,
That's
the
not very-
theme.
That's not very conducive to intimacy.
You don't know what those Zora dots are
Hey,
capable of. They're
you
fully
get
functional,
creative.
fluent in multiple techniques.
They
Okay,
have programmable matter.
that's right. They do. Oh, they're programming the matter.
That's true.
You know, they're doing.
You know, the theme was really touching when Culber hugged Gray. You know,
Yes.
my first thought was like, oh wow, like how does Culber, know what Gray looks like? And I was like, oh, he's so welcoming. He just like hugs people just right away.
Well, let's assume Stamets and Culber have these discussions when it comes, like, when they're in their quarters, and Stamets kind of describes and says, like, our new daughter, our new child,
Or new kid.
yeah, our
Yes.
new kid, has this friend, and then he just goes on and describes it and what have you. So
Right, and it's possible Adira has potentially like a photo, or maybe they were able to like do a sketch or something of Gray or describe Gray, or he just naturally assumed of all the people to show up right now that
Probably
Adira is
Gray.
not freaking out. That's some random Vulcan that's here, and Adira is totally chill about it. Who could it possibly be? It's
They probably took selfies together back when Gray was alive.
You know, but the scene was super
Braxton's
touching to me.
growling.
Like,
He's like, no.
no, I'm just kind of saying, you know, like but the scene was super touching to me. So like, it reminded me
Yeah.
of, you know, of like, you know, I feel like there was like there was like 2 months from the time that the pandemic started to the time that I had hugged someone that I knew,
Good
you
point.
know,
Yeah,
and
it's nice.
so you know when uh, Culber hugged Gray, and Gray had a reaction like, "Oh wow, like I'm feeling seen," and like, "Oh my gosh, it's been so long since someone has touched
Oh
me,"
my gosh,
you know, like
we're all gonna go from virtual to real when the pandemic's over, and we're all gonna feel that way. That's a really good.
Yeah.
That's a really
Listen,
good.
if
Go
Wilson
ahead,
Cruz
STLV.
is outside my house to give me a hug, I'll take it. I'll
Yeah,
take
I agree.
Bouncing off that, Braxton, you talk about being seen. I really do feel like that entire scene was like a metaphor for the non-binary community and like the trans
mhm,
community being seen, because
mhm,
Culber says it's nice to be seen, it's nice to be truly seen, and I'm
mhm.
like, okay, this is like really that's the message that they're pushing with this. So it's
Yeah.
not the whole Gray not being seen by anyone, and then all of a sudden being seen by Saru, being seen by Kolba. That is the message.
Yeah, it
Which
was very
yeah,
powerful.
Very nice.
it was. You're right. I mean, it was a great. The whole relationship with Adira, Gray, Culber, and Stamets has been probably one of the standout. Like their relationship before that was really standout, but now it's getting even better. And I think it's one of the better relationships, and they're doing really well. A lot of people like to give the show flack for being too overly rambunctious with their messaging, and I would say sometimes they're a little bit on the nose, but specifically with these characters, they've been very good. And like you just said, man, is like that subtle message is I didn't even think about that, but now that you say that, it's like, yeah, that's pretty obvious that that's what they were going for, as well
Yeah.
as the character. It's actually pretty good, and that's what you want.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys. I think maybe Braxton. We talked about this at some point, but Emperor
I don't know about
Giorgio.
you guys, but me
Yeah,
and Braxton,
No, because
yeah.
I
Oh, you and Brad,
elite
best friends.
conversations.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks
Braxton,
for
don't
letting
join
us
his
do that.
crew. He
Yeah,
won't let
yeah.
you have the same panel that you want.
He
He's
won't
gonna
let
make
you have your own panel. It's
right.
true.
He's gonna force you to use his panel.
In season 2, Emperor Giorgio had like these comments about being pen and that kind of stuff, and that felt a bit like hammered in. That felt a bit too on the nose, as you were saying.
Hi, Poppy.
The eye poppy
Like
line. Yeah.
all of
Some of
that.
those lines. The yum yum was a
Yum.
little. Yum yum was a little bit much.
Bill
Yeah,
Clinton.
yum yum.
This was very well handled, especially
Yeah.
for like
Yeah.
the integration of 2 new characters into the dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they've
Totally.
done great. All the new characters I felt, but those two and Book, I thought blended
And
really
Rin.
well.
Rin.
Like
Rin
they.
should have been there at the end. Rin
Oh
didn't
yeah.
make it, yeah.
I mean, he's
Von-
kind of
Von-
there in the bridge. He's in like those particles floating around. You know?
Wow.
You're like, yep, smells like some disintegrated Andorian.
You know, Book
Mandalorian, yeah.
Book has been a great addition to this show. He's like the Han Solo of the show.
Yeah,
Like
he's
he's got
the
this
Han Solo
amazing
show.
ship. You know, he's like it's like shape shifted, and he's like got all these solutions, and he's super resourceful, and he can fight. You know, like yeah, Book's pretty awesome.
He's
Are
a
we
great
gonna
actor
have-
too.
Are we gonna have spore drives replicated and then have empath pilots on every Starfleet vessel now? What's the deal?
Deanna
I don't-
Troy is gonna be the sport
Yeah.
operator on one of them.
I'm sensing the ship doesn't want to move now, Captain. Okay, right. Thank you. It's good. No, what I actually think is, I think what they might do. I don't think we're going to get more spore drives, but I was thinking that maybe they'll figure out what it is about his physiology that allows him to connect potentially to the machines, to the spore drive in particular, and maybe try to replicate that on individuals, so that maybe other people will be able to do it. not just the two of them. That's what I thought. Maybe some kind of gene therapy type situation like they did in
That's true,
Stargate,
yeah.
where only some people could use the thing, and then they came out with a gene therapy, and then everyone could use the thing, and that's that was a way to resolve that issue.
If gene
I felt
manipulation is no longer outlawed in the 32nd century, they could do that. But I also kind of like that, like maybe one of the things that I really loved, and this goes, Father will like this. One of the things I really liked about classic Star Trek, or what do you call it? What is everyone calls this new Trek? So what's old Trek? I guess one of the things I loved about old Trek is that like you could have like Star Wars always had robots and droids and stuff, but Star Trek you knew you could have robots. Like the technology certainly existed, but like people went out of their way to do things because it was just about the way that the culture was, or like the
So what you're
ethos or
saying
whatever.
is when you create a machine to do the work of a man, you take something away from the man. Is that what are you quoting Star
Or the
Trek
person.
Insurrection right now?
Yeah, I would re-quote it
Is
as
that what
person.
are you kidding me? Are you giving quotes from Insurrection?
Yeah, nice.
Get out of here with that.
You're so steeped in that era. But yeah, basically, I'm saying that like it would be nice if like they never solved the mystery of why you need a human, or like a person, like not human, that's too centric for humans, but like why you need a actual being like commanding it, because it's something a computer could never do. So I think that would be nice too, and it would
So
be a cool
Data
way to
couldn't be
get the
captain?
what's that.
Data couldn't be captain.
Wow.
No,
Wow.
he did poorly
Starfleet
as,
Boy.
he did
Wow.
poorly as a captain his first time. No, he actually did all right. He was pretty good in that episode.
Wow. Well, is this the Data shit show? Is that what this is? Is this
I
what
adore
it's like?
Data. Data's one of my favorite characters, but
Well,
he is
I'm
scary.
I'm
at
tweeting
the
Brent
same
Spiner
time.
right now, so I'll let him know.
But he is scary sometimes. Data, like he
It
can
can
just
be intense.
he can be taken over, and then he can hijack a ship, and it doesn't matter if people are dying on another planet. So, that's a thing that can happen with Data.
Is this is unrelated? Is Cronenberg's character the president of the Federation, but they just haven't told us yet?
I don't think so, because he
No, I don't
seemed
think
to
so.
be an
Consulting
underling
Admiral
of
Vance.
the admiral. Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas a president, you would think the president of the Federation would be able to give orders to the admiral.
Like overrule the yeah.
Like it would have been more like do this, not shouldn't we do this.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
It's just
I
they were
kind
chilling
of don't want to
close
talk
to
about presidents at all right now.
Yes, for the it was an interesting time. I do want to say that Michelle Paradise was talking about how this whole season was about being disconnected and then coming to a state of connection, and it's crazy that Star Trek Discovery lined up almost perfectly with this season of life. Like it's nuts that what happened yesterday, for me personally, what happened yesterday in the United States, and then to get this episode and like such a powerful like message of connection and reunification in a sense, and like at the end you get like the Navarans are talking, and the Trill are back in the Federation. I was a little disappointed, but I also think it's like kind of appropriate that Earth is not back in the fold, and I think that's going to be an interesting thing to explore.
Yeah,
next
they're
season.
saving that for a story in season 4. I've no doubt.
That is what is it? You a Hope part
3.
That Hope is You part 3. That's it. That's the reintegration of Earth. I was disappointed we didn't see enough. I was disappointed we didn't see enough of the Navarre fleet. Like they were kind of like on the sideline, and we didn't really. I wanted to see more of those ships.
Dude,
That was a
only
huge.
6
That was a
ships,
huge
yeah?
disappointment.
Yeah, there was a small number of ships, but right, we didn't get to see.
5 or 6 or something.
They were like way out there in the back. You can't really see them, but we'll see them eventually. I mean, like it was the same thing like when they had Seven of Nine's Ranger ship from Picard. You couldn't even see what it was, and then it just blew up. But it's actually this really cool looking ship that they released like a year later.
You only know from Eagle Moss, actually. That's the only
Right.
way you know how these things look, which I appreciate, Eagle Moss. Thank you. But yeah, I wish we got beauty shots. That's something that Discovery doesn't like to do, is give us beauty shots. The other thing Discovery doesn't like to do. Go ahead, sorry.
So, I was saying, is the Voyager now the flagship? Because they keep on talking about Voyager instead of talking about like the Enterprise. The Enterprise gets no mention. I'm like,
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind that, but I think the Enterprise is still the flagship.
Okay.
Or it got blown up in the burn.
It could have gotten blown up in the burn. That's
They probably got blown up.
What they should have done in the very first episode when Book
As a statement?
is well, yeah, like when Book is running from Cosmo, and you see the debris of a ship, It should have just said USS Enterprise NCC 1701, and then like you don't even see what letter it is. But you just see like that broken hull, and that would have told you like, oh yeah, this is like a broken future.
There's
I like that actually. Yeah.
there's some interesting talk about Reno being back was great. So she gets like a quick moment in the at the end of the episode. We get a lot of like reunions actually at the end of the episode, which is really nice. And one of them, which I was very happy about, and which I think a lot of people.
Oh God, yeah, there he is. Yeah, thank you. There he is.
Yeah.
That hope is you.
Commander Burnham. Yeah. Get him out of here. He's staring into my soul. He's just staring right at me. He's freaking me out. Get him out of here.
The funny thing is that when he actually like met her in book, that would have been like, and that was like a year and a half ago, because you know she had like that whole year of just like her in book as character.
Why is he not mad at her? Where have you been? You left me out there.
I can only assume. I
jumping
can only
at me.
assume that entire time he was training to be a Starfleet officer, because all of a sudden now he's a lieutenant.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's because he was waiting around 40 years. Give him the lieutenant. Come on, what are you going to do? You're gonna
No,
give him-
It's just like-
not a PJC&C. You got to go to the academy. Get your ass to class.
Burnham never went to the academy.
and you use my computers. What are you doing?
That's right.
Wait-
Yeah.
you could assume that where he was, he could have learned hollow programs and run simulations as to how, like, you know.
Can I
pretty
teach you
possible.
a lesson?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Clippy's there? I like
Clippy's
that.
there.
I'm down with that.
No, he's got to start with the fish from TNG, right?
Oh no, I don't like that.
There's that fish thing.
I don't want the fish thing. Get him out of here. Now he can put down. Well, he had to go through the hollow program to learn how the flag button worked. He had to figure out how that worked
Yeah.
and how to properly fold it. You know, so we had to do that. You know, and iron it because that thing wasn't wrinkled. I assume it was in there for 40 years, but I assume he was probably cleaning it. So it is what it is. But I'm glad he did come back. I'm glad they didn't completely forget about that and they put him in there. That was nice.
I kind of sort of predicted how he would come back, and Anthony Rapp liked my tweet, so I assumed that meant I was on the nose with that one. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I was glad to see him back. I was actually not, upset about the lieutenant thing, but I am upset that Tilly didn't rank up to lieutenant. Like, I definitely would have.
Do we know
liked
she
to have seen
didn't?
her.
I think she
we
did.
don't know actually. She
I
did.
think she did. If I let me
It's
go
so
back.
hard to tell on the comm badges. Like you can't really see.
Well,
them
no,
right.
they're on so the uniforms are interesting. They're all kind of different. Like there's this thing where you have some ranks, and then some people have ranks going on over here, and so it's like interesting. I can't wait to see like a diagram come out with all the new uniforms.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
Did anyone else notice that the uniforms didn't quite fit the crew, the Discovery crew? And it's like they definitely reused those uniforms from the other actors.
Well, they probably haven't tailored them for the crew yet. That's why they
Well, I
filmed.
think
That's
we're
what I'm
getting
saying.
new
Get them
uniforms.
tighter. They need to be tighter. That's how.
I think we're gonna get a different uniform for
They're-
season 4.
I think they're gonna actually they're gonna be more form fitting, because some of them look baggy, and it's like they don't look like the right size. Like, just go back and look at each of the actors. Some of them don't fit quite well, but
Oh, that makes sense. I like
but,
them.
but
I
that's
wish they
just
had
a
a belt.
that's just a cost saving measure. I understand that.
I'd
The
like to see a
department
belt.
colors were weird too.
Didn't they have the same kind of stuff with like that TNG Deep Space Nine crossover when they were like mix and matching uniforms? Didn't they have that kind of problem as well? Like sometimes they gave Riker uniforms that weren't.
It was in
It
Generations.
was in Generations.
Generations. Yeah.
My least favorite Star Trek movie.
You better watch that mouth.
Really.
Okay.
I love that Stress Free K, who's back to being Stress Free K. They were earlier. It was Stressful K. So thank you. I'm glad you're stress free again.
No. Shishan girl has changed. She's stressed out. K. That's what you're looking at.
Oh, that's what it
Oh.
was. Oh, Jesus, I'm so dense, thickety thick here. Okay,
The
thank
audience
you.
is
That
using the same names now, so
Yeah,
you're confused.
this-
It's
Shishan
mayhem.
Yeah,
Next
I love that
stream,
you
everyone
recognize-
come on
that
with the
is-
same name.
That is Shishan Girl's thing. Is that a Fletcher Shishan Girl? That's very cool. So
Everyone's a dot 23 next stream.
everyone change your icon to a dot 23. I love that you
Good for
call
dots.
Mr. Sahil Mr. Sohail, which is my name. It's reassuring he's finally connected with the Federation. All right, so what else are we? What are we missing? Oh yeah, the death of the dude.
You
No,
mean
the death of
Zarya?
Osira, not the
The
dude.
death
Sorry,
of the
death
dude.
of Osira.
Oh, okay. Is this the Big Lebowski all of a sudden? I didn't realize.
The death of, I guess the last thing we want to talk about is the death of Osira. What did you guys think of the death of Osira? I was really expecting Osira to keep going till next season, but they wrapped
I'm
it
not
up
sure
nice-
she
in a
is
nice little
dead.
bow.
To be honest, I am not convinced. I watched that sequence a couple of times, and it's not quite clear. We don't get that "I'm dead" kind of attitude. It's not clear. I'm throwing it out there. I don't think she's dead.
Well,
So you know,
there's
so Michael
there's
did
no
shoot her
blood.
twice.
Yeah.
It's a flesh wound.
There's no blood, and when there's no blood in Discovery, there's usually like a complete vaporization of the person. But this has none
Oh
of
yeah.
that. It's
Osira
just,
was not vaporized.
and they say that the entire Emerald Chain kind of like was destroyed after Osira died. But we kind of established in the previous episode that she's not the leader of the chain. She's just a ministry. She's one of the elements.
They
And,
didn't
like,
say they
why-
died. I think they just said they like weren't
No,
organized and disbanded. They said they
that
died.
because they said because she died, the chain was like dismantled or something.
Right.
Like, the chain fell apart, and it's like, really, because one person dies, the whole chain falls apart. Like she's the one that was proposing the reforms, like let's stop slavery. She's the one that was holding the chain together. That feels
That's
a bit
the problem.
strange.
That's the problem with the chain, Toddy. That it's linked in a
It is.
straight line instead of like a net, right? Like the Federation's like a net, whereas the chain's just like one thing. So if you break
Oh, I
the middle
see.
link, boom.
You know, and an example of her cruelty. You know, like I was so angry that she could choke that man in that like hovering
Oh, that's so
wheelchair.
horrible.
You know, it's like, dude,
Yeah.
like how you gonna choke that dude?
Yeah, he was so nice.
Like, yeah.
Aurelio,
like
Aurelio is
he's-
his name, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Leo.
So
Yeah.
he's not a what do they call them?
regulators.
He's not a regulator.
No,
The
The ship
regulator
scientist
seems to
is
be
a-
robotic in
he's
some
an
way.
instigator or infiligator or whatever they said it in the
so-
last episode.
The ship knows that this one's not a regulator because the ship didn't beam him off the ship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If it had,
Also,
he would
we-
be dead because they blew that
also,
other
we-
ship up.
We need to talk about the fact that Burnham didn't say, computer, beam all the regulators to the brig. She said, computer, space them. And
She
it's
didn't
like,
she didn't really
no,
say
she
space
didn't
them.
say that. No.
she said,
She
beam them into
beamed them
space.
off.
She said
Which-
beam them
beam them
off the ship, and I assume the computer would know to just beam them to the other ship and not actually
Yeah.
kill them.
Not that it matters anyways, because she didn't just
Yeah,
blew them all up.
she
like
also
she
blew
killed
them
them
up.
anyway.
She,
So
she
yeah.
killed like 4,000
For
people.
no reason. For
She's
absolutely
like-
no
What did,
reason.
what did you, come on. What did you guys? I mean, like that was a good reason.
Okay,
Come
so
on,
I got a
like-
question. So hold on, really quick.
Go,
here.
go, go.
I just did a little bit of an investigation to see if I could see Tilly's badge at the end,
Ooh.
which I'm still looking at. When you guys watched the episode, what color was the stripe on Tilly's uniform?
Blue.
I didn't look.
I
didn't
wouldn't
pay
know. I wouldn't know. I'm
attention either,
colorblind, so
I was mad at all the gray not pleasing me. I was mad at myself for not liking it.
Oh,
He's gone
Nick
now.
just disappeared.
He's
I think he was
gone.
trying to share his screen. Hopefully, just press the link again, Kowalski.
But
I think he was
something
trying
that
to
I
share his
noticed.
screen.
He's being all suspenseful. He's like, what did you guys see? And they just leave.
Did they go
Oh my
and
God.
correct it? Was there something that was altered?
I would
might have
assume.
been.
I would assume that next season it's going to be Burnham as the captain, Tilly's the first officer.
There
Yeah,
he
I'm
is.
assuming
What
that
about, what
too.
about poor Saru?
Were you
Sorry.
trying to
Return.
share your screen?
I was attempting to do something there, yes. But anyways, so can I share my screen? Is that possible?
Yeah. So
Yes,
if you
yes,
go,
do.
you see that button that says share screen.
Okay. Listen with the attitude, Captain Attitude Pants over here. Oh my god, I've never been so disrespected in my life. Okay, so I'm just gonna bring this up. So I just pulled the left screenshot. I just pulled out of the episode, and the right is from the official photos from the episode reviews that came out last
Oh,
night.
they did a last minute VFX change.
They did a last minute VFX change. Yes.
Oh dear.
What is going on here? I don't know what's happening.
Oh,
Share
you-
screen one.
And
There
then
we
you
go. I
have to
got
tell
it. I'm
what-
moving.
Yeah, okay, cool. All right, there it is. I see it. Here it is.
Okay. So that's all of us. That's weird. Okay.
What's going on?
So
Oh, wow.
right
Oh,
here
that's cool.
is Tilly with a red stripe.
Oh, look
Mm.
at that.
And then the
That's
shot I
not
just
what I
pulled
saw.
out is Tilly with a blue stripe. And you can actually see, it almost looks like it was really, I don't know if you can see the detail on the
It's
video.
over her hair.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
it's over her hair a
weirdly,
little
it's
bit.
like weirdly chopped
Yeah.
into it. Yeah, it doesn't look so
They
good.
decided she's science division last minute. That's interesting.
Like last minute changed it, which is weird.
Oh, you're right. Those are really poorly fitting. They're like
That's
Yeah.
moo.
I
Yeah,
didn't
that's
notice
really
that.
poorly done.
They're like moo
Like it's really, really poorly done. Anyways, I'll stop sharing now. But
It kind of looks a bit. It kind of looks first order.
That was an exclusive.
Like the. It kind of looks Star Wars, but bad guy Star Wars.
Yeah,
doesn't
it looks
too-
Nazi-ish.
Yeah, it does look a bit like first order, but
Not
So-
our favorite.
the amount of pips on Tilly's badge does lead me to believe that she is now lieutenant, but that could just be a mistake because they didn't acknowledge it yet.
Yeah.
So
Lieutenant Junior grade maybe. As
yeah,
like
lieutenant
the-
junior grade, I think is what we're looking at there. But that is really weird that they changed the stripe like that because I'm thinking that when I watched it, which was like when it first came out, like late last night. I think it was red. I'm actually pretty sure it was red.
Oh wow! So
Well,
like,
they have.
changed it
Well,
the
they
next
have
day.
done.
They have done that.
changes. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Lower Decks had like changes overnight and stuff.
They did, but that's a really that's a serious change. Get that fucking thing.
Mine doesn't talk.
What?
that's
You were
bothering me.
Klingon? What's wrong?
Mine is just like doesn't talk. What the
Actually, they changed the logos up for the show, didn't they? Like, because we had all these different versions of the Star Trek Discovery logo at the beginning of this season. Like, episode 1 had like the old logo. Episode 2 had a mix between the two. Episode 3 finally had the new logo for the show. But
Yeah,
I feel
they
like all of,
changed
those
the
are
logo.
all of those are corrected now, right?
Yes, those are all corrected, except for in the title sequence, which still has the old logo style.
Okay.
Aurelio
Right.
joins the science team and does cameos like Tig Notaro next season.
I like it.
I like
I'm
that.
fine with it. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like there
Definitely.
being a way for Kenneth Mitchell to return and do more if he's, able to do that. And
Willing and
Yeah.
able. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, can we
It
talk
would,
about?
it would be weird if like they had like another character in a wheelchair again. So I'm glad they kept this one alive.
At least he can talk and doesn't just have little beeps. Okay.
Yeah, it's true.
Can we talk
I
about
want
when
it
the
to be
D23 saved Owo?
Sure.
Because I noticed that the D23 was like horribly charred and burned, and she was like, "Oh, but you saved me." I didn't understand how it was so horribly charred and burned, and she was uninjured.
Humans or living beings aren't affected by the magnetic whatever it was that holds the nacelle together, but apparently dot sevens, which are dot 23s, which are designed to repair these things, cannot be in the proximity of them and get burned and charred. So it was like another weird thing that because it needed
Well, the
to do
Dot
that.
23s, when they're going down the hallways, like any kind of phaser shot or any explosion on a wall just completely obliterates them. They just
I
fall
love
to the
that.
ground in pieces immediately.
Best part of the episode.
I can't wait till the video game when they come up with a new
Father,
like
wants gifts.
what would
Oh, the Zora dots, they're going to be in Star Trek Online. You're going to be blowing those things
That's-
up left and right. They're going to be exploding. Yeah.
wait, you remember that Voyager game where you could go around shooting and
They should have
shoot 'em up?
an app, Dot Killer. You just hit dots.
You
and
could
they
do that
explode.
on Star Trek Online. There's a shoot 'em up component, a first person shooter component on Star Trek Online.
Oh, really?
There is a
There's
first
not.
person. So when you're on the ground, you can enter into a first person shooter mode with
That
a
must
one.
be a PC thing because you can't. I've only played it on console. I don't think you can do it there.
Well, stop being a loser and get on PC like a cool person. So. I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
we know.
I've gotten enough trouble
Um,
today. I'm fine. Thank you.
No, by the way, thanks for putting a stop to me because that's my big if you ever want to see Starfleet Boy go nuts, talk about spoilers and how it's my responsibility to keep spoilers.
Why are you
from
trying to
you.
get me riled up right now?
No, it's me.
Don't try to get me.
I'm the one. So,
Don't. Listen. I deleted the tweet.
Yes, you did a good job. You're great.
He's the
got rid of
captain of the ship. He's allowed to get. He's allowed
Yeah.
to get pissed.
That's right.
Yeah.
I got rid of it. All right. I got rid of it.
Lastly, so I just want to
It
touch.
got you on the show, so all is
That's
well.
True.
It did
Here I
get you on
am.
the show. That
That's
was very
true.
nice.
Here I am.
Sukal and the burn. How do you guys feel about the burn the whole season and just like the everything? Okay, got a thumbs down on that.
Blah.
Whatever.
Yeah. That wasn't awesome.
The burn
What?
was like, is it me or is the burn was like the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like
It didn't
it
need
was
to
like
exist,
supposed to be
though.
like.
They could have done the entire season without the burn. Like, we could have still had the interesting
Sukal,
story
yeah.
of the kid stranded on the planet. We could have still had the story of Osira and the Emerald Chain just having, generally speaking, more resources and being able to do more damage than when the Federation can heal. You didn't need the burn in there.
I would argue that
So happy
you could.
it's not a burn. Like, I'm just so happy that it's not that. That's
Well, I don't think they were ever going to do that. That was too obvious. I think that the issue that I have with the burn is that it created a disconnect between all of the Trekkies who are watching and investing their time into Discovery, pulling apart everything, trying to come up with these theories and ideas. And as we were trying to come up with these ideas, they pull out this idea of this random Kelpian kid that caused it, that had no buildup to it. So it created like this disconnect between what everybody was feeling and thinking and coming up with to, we could have never guessed that it was this random thing. And it's like, I think they thought it would be like this great big reveal, but I think it created a disconnect and there was no like emotional connection. Like we weren't investigating it with the Discovery throughout the season. It was, we were investigating it, and then suddenly it was just this weird thing that happened. And that,
we kind of were with the black boxes, but then the black boxes didn't really tie into that too well.
I'm gonna
they kind of gave us
the
the location
season.
of the planet, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna binge the season, so maybe it'll make more sense on the second go around. I don't know,
No,
but like
it won't.
you're not going to be able to pick up on anything. There was no like possible connection to it, and that I think that's why I think like Brex and I feel like most folks are feeling like it was just kind of meh because it was like the mystery box idea works if you lay the breadcrumbs out throughout the season, so we're all kind of following along to figure out the mystery. But then when they, when you like, I think that big quote of like, if you set the whole story up that the butler's the one that did the murder, and then at the end you reveal out that it was the gardener, then if people feel cheated because it's like, well, I followed this story and that wasn't a fun twist, and I wanted to be proven right because it was fun to go on the adventure with the investigation, but we didn't have that. It was just, here's this guy and that's it. It was immediately answered. It was like, and they answered it immediately as soon as they found it. He was like, oh, he screams, it's on the Dilithium planet, that's what it is. And that's ruined it.
Yeah.
You ruined it 2 episodes ago.
And a lot of people guessed that the big burn was probably caused by the fact that he witnessed his mother die in front of us.
Right, we all
and
guessed
that's
that.
exactly what happened, and it was so anticlimactic.
But I don't think any of us thought it was a guess. I think all of us just immediately knew that that's what it was. Like, none of us thought...
Well, we didn't know for sure, but we guessed. A lot of us guessed right.
Did you,
like
did,
me,
did
you,
Did
Sohail,
you legitimately think that it was clever theory crafting when you came... Like, all of us just thought, oh, okay, so the burn was created when he was very sad when his mother died.
But to have this reveal at the end where you see the hollow... It doesn't have an impact because you've already given too much away in episode 11.
Right, we've already accepted it as the reality. That's what the answer is. We accepted it 2 episodes ago.
Yeah,
like it doesn't have that. It's a disconnect.
Yeah.
I did find the death of the mother, like seeing the mother actually fall and then be dead lying on the ground. That worked.
That did work, but they lacked the emotional connection because there was no build-up to that. It was mystery, and then they answered it 2 episodes ago, and then that was it, and they didn't add anything
also,
to it.
there was like an opportunity which I was really vibing with, was that music that somehow everyone knew. It would have been cool if like one of the things that the Holo program does to calm Sukal down is play the mom singing that tune, like to calm him freaking down. And that wasn't anywhere. So it's like we had this cool thing or concept about this music that like somehow everyone knows it, and it was not like a thing that...
What was the monster in the end? The monster was just like
that
the
also
being from the
fell flat.
From the
Yeah,
book,
I felt that fell flat a little.
That was
too.
the mom, according to the subtitles. If you watch the episode with subtitles, when it says
nice.
"see me,"
Oh,
the
I
subtitles
know
say
it's-
like "mother" in front of
Oh,
Ah.
monster! Wow,
How'd you feel now?
Yeah. Oh, it fell flat. Did it? Starfleet Boy, get out of here. Turn the stream over. You're done. Turn in your badge and your gun.
Nice.
And
I stand corrected.
all the stuff on the Kiev, is that Kiev? Is that the ship's name? Kiev?
I
Kelpian
thought the
ship, you mean?
Kiev.
Yeah.
I thought the Kiev
All
was
the-
the ship that was supposed to come and get the Kelpian ship, but I don't think it was.
Okay, well,
The Kelpian ship. Yeah.
in the Holo program, it really worked well in Sukal, and in this episode, it was just so goddamn boring, and it took so much away. In fact, the second time I watched the episode, I skipped through all of the Saru stuff just to get to the actiony parts, and even those were
Oh
like
wow.
just I don't know, the generic 90s action in a Star Trek disguise.
Skin.
It didn't feel like a proper season finale to a Trek show. And I did like the season finale to season 2, but I disagree with a lot of the logic problems like blast doors and too many shuttles and all that stuff. But I think this was a weak season finale, not as bad as season 1 though, which was god awful. Yeah.
I actually like this season finale way better than the other two, so I'm a little different on that. But I do recognize that there were still problems. I think Star Trek Discovery kind of like does something different that I'm not used to. Like I guess I'm used to Star Trek like going deeper into the explanations and the science and kind of like creating this like plausible reality, and Discovery lets you assume a lot more than I'm used to, and so I think that's
the
what it
thing.
is.
Like Discovery, like they want to set up every show to be its own flavor, and I think that we have kind of accept that that is the flavor that Discovery is.
Discovery is that.
They don't
right.
just dive too much into the science. It's like
Right.
the burn is the like the Red Angel, it works. The mother she managed to live and all of that.
Right.
I
Don't
I
think too
do
hard about it. Yeah, just look at the explosions, and that's what this show is. And I don't mean that in a negative way. Like you just said, like these flavors
That's the
are
flavor
being
of it,
designed.
yeah.
Right. This is the flavor of Discovery. We've had 3 years of it, and even though it has gotten better, it's still stayed the same in terms of its flavoring, which is this is action focused, and we're going to tell some really fun, crazy things, and we're going to have a heist thing, and we're going to do Mirror Universe, and we're going to go over the Guardians here, and then we're going to push her into a waterfall made of programmable matter, and she's going to puke it up, and like they're just like, this is just cool, like don't worry about it, just that's the vibe of Discovery.
Maybe that's why the finale or like the last episodes of Picard didn't vibe too well with people, because it felt more like the Discovery flavor than the flavor that Picard was setting up in the beginning. Like Picard had this distinct flavor, to use the word again, but then in the end it kind of felt kind of Discovery-ish in the not very deep in the explanations. There's just giant flowers floating around, and
The centipede coming out. Yeah.
What did everybody
Yeah,
think
like-
of the use of the TOS theme at the end? I think it hints at a fourth season being kind of like the 32nd century version of Strange New Worlds. I think
Yes.
going forward with Discovery and Strange New Worlds, they're going to try to do that more like contained episodic adventure thing. And you know
I
what?
do think there's going to be a huge shift. I think this was a closing of a chapter, and then I agree.
In season 2 and 3, these big mystery box things that they drag out the whole season that by the end you're not really all that interested in, and the payoff isn't that great. They should stop that. They don't need to start off with some big mystery that they need to spend the whole season investigating.
You hear that?
Investigate,
Stop
mystery. Do 2 or 3 episode story arcs. I don't mind that, but don't drag a big mystery out
Right.
till the end.
So I'll say is I actually think that, and I talked about this a long time ago, which is I felt like this season is kind of a test bed for the concepts that they're talking about doing for Strange New Worlds, and potentially now for season 4 of Discovery, which is they spent a lot of time this season focusing on the characters, which I appreciate. And we had these almost like if you go back and watch some of these episodes, a lot of them are relatively self-contained, but it still is a bit weighed down by this season plot arc of the burn and some of the other long-term situations. But I felt like it was a little bit of a test bed to say, hey, how can we do this? How can we set it up so that the episodes are more contained, but yet we have a couple of through threads that, maybe we'll tie up at the end? And that's kind of like what this felt like. So I think you're right, PJ. I think the song at the end, the information we have about Strange New Worlds that they've talked about, I think is what they're going towards, a more episodical style, but still have like a longer through thread. And they're trying to make it similar to the old stuff, but also a little bit more modern. And I think this was a little bit of a test bed. I don't think it landed perfectly. I think the burn didn't end up the way we wanted it to, and that's fine. But I'd rather them test the waters out with Discovery season 3 and not Strange New World season 1. That's how I feel about that.
It's the character things the character threads that work. Like we talked about Adira Gray and all that situation. That's what worked more than the burn itself, right?
Yes.
So do you guys think that's because they have this offline in this episode where they say the Discovery can use its spore drive to take dilithium to all of these planets, right? So do
Yes.
you guys think that when season 4 picks up, that will be done? Or do you think that that will be a lot of the basis or a lot of the vehicle to get Discovery to other planets in those episodes in season 4?
I think it will have
I
been
think that
ongoing.
yeah.
That's what I think.
But I think there's going to be other missions too. Like
Mhm.
in the Ready Room, they talked about a little bit. They touched a little bit on what next season is, and I think you guys are spot on that it's gonna change tone and flavor and be more like I what I like about Discovery season 3 is that like finally Discovery felt like it was home, so it was like good to get rid of the baggage, as Toddy likes to say, that Discovery had from season 1 and season 2 being set
it
like
did
in
have
the
baggage.
past
It did.
and yeah, and all that stuff. And so Discovery season 3 like just gave us so much more fun. Like the show felt lighter, Burnham felt fun and lighter, like
Mhm.
finally, like whereas Burnham was just kind of like dark and always shat upon and
Giorgio
always
was
just
the
like
last element of that baggage, I think. Giorgio
I
and
think
the
Giorgio.
roller coasters, maybe.
Yeah,
But-
the roller coasters we
but
might have
yeah.
to take the roller coasters going forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I do think that next season is gonna kind of change tonally and like
Maybe
it's
this
gonna be
fourth
more.
time.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll
You
get
better,
it.
you better,
That's
you
true.
better settle down. Okay.
If you look at episodes 1, which is actually the first part of a two-parter, which I don't consider that, but episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and even 6, and then you go into the two-parter and then the three-parter to finish it off. But the earlier episodes are some of them are good episodic adventures
Yeah.
that you could just look at one time and not really have to know too much
Yeah.
about any other thing. But
Yes, which is why I really do think that they were using this as a little bit of a test bed, and I
Yeah.
think that we're going to see a bit of a shift in Strange New Worlds, and also from what I hear and what I understand is Picard season 2 is also going to be focusing more on Adventure of the Week construct. So potentially all three shows
Ooh.
are going to be a different flavor of the episodic construct, and seeing
I
how
just
they.
want old man archaeologist Picard. That's what I want. I want
Yeah,
Oh, you're
we
gonna get
want
him.
to-
You know, I just
yeah,
wanna-
I think
The
we're gonna
curling
get
Curling
that.
Avatar.
Yeah.
If they can ever start shooting that show, with how things look in California right now, I don't know if they're going to start in February. Or
They
not.
better
Yeah.
listen. They're going to have to put Patrick Stewart into a Gollum if they're going to taking forever.
We're going to be on like
Patrick
season
Stewart.
8, season 8 of Discovery by the time they shoot season 2
Yeah.
of Picard.
Hey guys, remember Picard?
You're gonna have to de-age him. Just for Picard, right?
Yosef said it really well. Trek does not need galactic disasters. I want good stories, and I agree with that. So, guys, let's wrap it up. And if everyone wants to give some final thoughts and then just give it a rating, we can start with you, Mr. PJ.
well, like I said before, I was bored with the Sukal stuff. The payoff was very anticlimactic. I just felt nothing. Burnham doing her action thing and the whole turbo lift fight. I mean, it's nice to look at, but I feel nothing. So like this was a disappointing finale, although it wasn't as bad as season 1. So I'd have to give it like a 6.
Cool. Braxton?
So I was kind of feeling like underwhelmed by the episode, and then the last 3 minutes happened, and I smiled and I kind of lightly laughed through the whole last 3 minutes, and I left the episode feeling really, really good, you know. I enjoyed the action. I enjoyed seeing Michael Burnham kick some ass. I'm very much an action adventure, sci-fi fantasy person, and generally, I'll enjoy a movie if it just gives me enough action. That's kind of all that it needs to do. And I think this gave me enough action, and at the end, it also made me feel good, and it made me smile. I was happy for Michael Burnham. I really like Michael Burnham, partly because I kind of like Sonequa Martin Green. I think that she's a really, really nice person.
She's awesome.
That it's really easy to root for.
Highly recommend you guys watch The Ready Room. She made me cry just
I'm gonna
talking.
watch that after this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
I'm gonna
likes
watch it too.
was very
Yeah.
good.
So I would give it an 8, kind of like a 7 in like through like the first 55 minutes, and then like the last
I love
4
that.
minutes.
10.
How granular. The last 3 minutes are a 10. That's
Okay.
awesome.
Bell curve right there.
That's a
Yeah.
cool.
Like
That's
the
like
first 5 minutes at 3 out of 10, but then like the next 20 minutes get like an 8 out of 10.
you just gave me a new idea for how I'm gonna rate things next season, Braxton. Thank you. Like, since my ratings are already
That's
absurd.
good. I like that.
Father,
I mean,
what's up? Oh,
in
sorry.
the
Go ahead.
end-
I didn't mean to.
In the end, isn't that what matters? Like how something makes you feel, like
That and I
sure.
like it, but when the feeling, because like after the fourth viewing, I still want to like be, I mean, but that's what I always talk about. People always, one of my friends is always accusing me like, oh, you're just all about the hype in the beginning, and it's true. I fall for all the hype, and then later.
It's okay. You don't have to apologize for that. You can get on the hype train. You don't need to. You don't need to apologize to be on the hype train.
It's called recency bias, and I am totally susceptible to recency bias. So yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
But I
This
do
discussion
think.
begin in 30 years.
But that being said, for me too, this season I think I can watch over. I haven't gone back and watched season 1.
Can
or
we
season
can we
2
just
of
say
Star Trek
our
Discovery.
favorite episodes of the season, or just the
Yeah,
one favorite episode?
Yeah, we can do that. Let's finish. Well,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can do
yeah. I
that.
mean, yeah.
Yeah,
after
let's
that,
finish the ratings real quick. Father, you
Or
want to go?
do you want to save that for like next week to do like a season 3?
Ooh, a season
Overall
recap.
discussion.
Don't say
Yeah,
that.
He doesn't
what?
want to save it. He, all
yeah.
Yes.
That's the idea.
right, we'll save it for the
Gotta
recap.
get that content. Okay.
PJ, you could tell us your favorite episode if you want to.
Yeah, I
Five.
know. He said it's fine. 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 That's
Nice.
it there.
Go ahead, Father.
Well, speaking of saving things, I'm not sure I'm ready to share my feelings.
Yeah,
because
tomorrow. So yeah, you could
'Cause
promote TQIF
tomorrow night
tomorrow.
at 7:30 Central, we're kicking off our hashtag TQIF Friday night lineup, starting
Very
with
good.
the live Text Trek podcast, where we will talk all about this episode in great detail, give it a deep but fun analysis,
Yep.
followed by Starfleet Boy After Dark.
Starfleet Boy after.
Yeah, I'll come and troll you guys in the comment section because I can't. join you
I
guys.
also
Do
like
that.
Terra Firma Part 1 very much as well.
I gotta check. Oh yeah, I love it. Chaos on the bridge. Father, you don't give
throwing in
ratings
the
on your
favorite
show,
episode.
so will you give it a rating on our show?
I won't give it a rating. I'll say this. I'll
Oh
say
my
that
God.
there were things in this episode that
Ketwalski doesn't get
I
ratings
liked,
either.
and there were things in this episode that I did not like, and I have figured out where I landed on it.
You haven't said much this whole time, actually.
you.
Because
Yeah.
he came on as a wonderful-
What a
listen?
conscientious objector. What is this?
he's an invigulator or whatever.
Come
He's
in as a sponge.
Regulator. Regulating us.
Everyone else.
Yeah.
I guess Nick, you want to go next with your closing thoughts?
Overall, I thought the episode was effective. I appreciated the fact that they did not leave any plot threads hanging like Picard finale, which just dropped a bunch of stuff like halfway through the episode. I thought that it ended fine. I thought it was just fine. I felt like it was effective. It did its job. It's got us ready to go for another season. It didn't go over the top. It was perfectly well done. I think the only thing that I, of course, personally have a beef with is Saru now sitting on a park bench with Call. But that's a personal problem that I have. It has nothing to do with anything. I'm really glad they're back into the gray uniforms. I like the gray. So I thought it was a perfectly fine episode. It was.
How many Captain Burnhams out of 10?
Well, I would say if I had to rate this episode, out of 3 Sukal screams out of 10
Mess up the whole
Captain Burnhams,
multiverse.
I'm gonna give this episode 2 Grudge Cats. There we go.
I've got to pull out my conversion that I understand that.
Yeah,
By the way,
makes sense. It makes
future
sense.
Kaminar looked awesome. It looked like a
Future
pretty cool-
Kaminar
Yeah.
did look awesome. You're right. I do. Can I get a shot in the daylight? Why is everything
Yeah.
so dark?
There's a
Show me
lot
the
going on
city.
in the sky.
Yeah, I know. There was a lot going on. I don't know what was going on. I don't know. I got a lot going on up there. But yeah,
Miss
that's my
Toddy.
rating.
By the way, Toddy, you're officially promoted to captain in this episode.
Oh, wow.
So
Really?
yeah,
Oh,
Captain
great.
Toddy,
Everyone
go ahead. Give us.
their-
Do I get demoted next season or?
Yes, you might. It might
might,
happen.
yeah. That's it.
You give us your closing thoughts and your rating.
Yeah, this episode was like I was very, very angry from that like 30-minute mark to like 40. Like all of the action that was going on, I wasn't invested in that action, and just the setting of it, it really pisses me off. Like if they could just like roto all of that out and give it like a black background to make it look like it's a corridor, that would work better for me than this. I hate it, and that really, really angered me. But it's not just like some episodes of TNG. You watch it and there are boring parts. This wasn't a boring part. It was like an actively annoying bit for me. But other than that, I kind of agree with Nick on the fact that they effectively ended all of the stories that they needed to end. Like they terminated the Osira plot line. They gave the Discovery the uniforms. They set them in the time and place where they have to be, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it is. I think it was well directed as well. It's like
Yeah.
some of the spinny moments were a bit too much. They had like
Yeah.
3 or 4 in a row, but it was well. It
Olatunde
was like
Osunsume is great. He's done like a bunch of. I think he's
Yeah,
done all the
Tunde's great.
finales,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, yeah, he's really great.
It's good.
Yeah.
It was like it was a competent episode, and it did its job, but it's not something that I would necessarily go back to and like be like, oh, it's my favorite. So yeah, probably a flat 5 for me.
A flat
5. Oh,
Five out of
Damn.
10.
oh my
Damn.
Hey, I mean,
You're
to
just
give you guys-
saying that. You're just saying that to be confrontational. That's it. You're trying
to
to
give you context.
No,
most-
I believe him. I
most-
believe him.
Most Enterprise episodes for me are just 6s. Like taken away from season 4, most.
I don't know
Enterprise
why.
episodes-
I don't know why I know
They're
you,
6
Sean.
or
I don't know
under
why
that.
I know you. Okay, you try to wound me on a day.
You put out videos where you praise these episodes or you hate them so much, and I'm like, has he changed? Who is this man? I go see my wife. I'm like, this isn't Nick. This is someone else. Look
Someone
at the
else.
video.
Yeah,
No, come on.
That's right. That's what.
Which I'm
it
excited to
only-
go see your.
Listen,
Did
it
you
all
drop
depends
your
on whether or
review
not the check clears in the mail. Once the check clears, then they get the good review.
That's right.
If it doesn't clear,
Chill.
Everyone thinks you guys are shills, but I'm actually on the payroll for real. No, I'm just kidding.
I know I'm not getting a check. This is kind of crap. Yeah, I'm having to buy all my own merch.
I'm still not followed by Star Trek. Star Trek follows everyone.
Hey,
Star
Star
Trek
Trek,
follow me.
I
wanna know why they
think
don't follow
everyone
you?
else here is. Oh crap! Siri just launched. Sorry.
Why? Nick has an
I think everyone
explanation.
else-
They don't follow you because they probably wanted to call their YouTube channel Trek on the Tube, and you took it, and they can't legally tell you to stop. So now they're just mad, and they're holding that against you forever. And I don't blame them.
Oh, that's it.
And I forget who it was, but someone also contacted me wanting to name their podcast Trek Chat as well. I forget who that was, but someone
I
wanted to
forget.
name it.
Yeah.
Someone wanted
Listen,
to call
you
it
got all the
Trek
cool
Chat.
names. That's it. You got all the cool names. So
How was Trek Chat not
Well-
taken though? Sorry.
it's okay.
I don't know.
Anyways, what do you
Well,
think?
I give this discussion
gives it a
20
10.
out of 10 because this was
Good.
awesome
Wow.
for me to see all your faces and to see you guys here at the end of season discussion here. Thank you for coming and making my night, making my the beginning of 2021 so awesome. So I appreciate it. And I've been saving the 10, and I have to give it to this episode. I give this episode a 10 just because everything you guys said, it wrapped it up all nicely. It has its flaws, but I never really hold it against Discovery too much. I was really harsh on it on season 1 and season 2, so this season was just a delight for me. Like I really genuinely enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fact that like Discovery is outside of canon, as the producers like to say, and I like that, or defining canon is what I like to say, and it just like
It
worked
is.
for me on
Yep.
all.
It's
Yeah,
trailblazing.
it worked. Yeah, it worked for me on all accounts. Yes, lots and lots of problems, but what Trek showed hasn't had problems. So yeah, a solid 10 for this episode. It's the first. I think it's the first 10 I gave this season. I've been giving like 9.3.
You gave Unification 3 a 10.
Oh, did I? I gave
don't.
Unification-
Yeah,
okay,
he
sorry.
probably says that
Second
every
10,
week.
second
He probably
10,
says that
thank
every
you.
week. I'm probably gonna go with
Father
the
just
10 on this one.
knows.
I haven't
Yeah,
said that this
it's true.
season. Yeah, right. Like the story. Like the story. Yeah. First time I'm giving.
I'm super excited about next season, which is hopefully going to drop by the end of this year, and they're already
Yeah.
filming, which is okay. Father says that.
I think it'll be early 2021
Well, 22, you mean 2020?
or 2022. Yeah, whatever the hell.
You don't even know what year we're in. Don't listen to him.
I
don't know.
think 2021. Like this year, I think we're getting Prodigy and Lower Decks. That's what we're getting.
Yeah, I
Some
would say
short
that.
treks. They're gonna do
looking
some
forward to
short treks again because they want
They'll
people
probably
to
do some
subscribe.
Yeah.
Well,
We're gonna
based on Sahel's thing about getting a like, and it means the theory is true. I got a like by the actor who plays Rin when I talked about short treks. about Rin. So hopefully we got
yes,
a Rin short.
yes. I hope that happens. It's cool.
Yeah,
or
I
they
like
really
that.
want that to happen. Yeah, that's very nice.
What happens after he gets shot? There we go.
Audience,
You just follow like this blue cloud.
He turns into a mist. Yeah.
Did
Why
you
not?
guys
Everyone else is
But-
coming back to life.
but
Why can't he?
his antenna grow back in the mist.
That would be
Oh my
weird.
gosh. Audience, you guys have been really wonderful. Please smash the like button to confound the algorithm. It would be really awesome if you did that. Go check out Trek on the Tubes channel. He usually drops his reviews on Tuesdays. Don't go check it out. Check out
I got a
Ketwalski. You got a boo. Ketwalski, did you just drop your review today? Was it a little early?
I literally dropped it right before I clicked on the button to join this.
All right, so we're all
here it
gonna
is.
go watch that, or at least I'm gonna go watch that next.
That's why he was late.
That's right. That's why I still got the sweater on. I just literally just turned and here I am.
I couldn't. When I saw you wearing that sweater in your last video, I went on your T-shirt shop to try to buy
This
it.
is
and it's
this
not-
was a
this
gift
is
from a
something-
friend.
Oh, very nice.
From Christmas. Yeah. So I
Oh
got this.
wow, that's
Yeah,
a really
That's
nice
very
gift.
cool.
It is, and it's a lightweight one too, so it's like easier to wear underneath the lights and stuff. So I like it a lot. So
Super.
yeah, it's nice.
We already promoted Text Trek, but there's never enough promotion for Text Trek, so go check out Text Trek. We can go see you guys tomorrow on TQIF. Braxton doesn't have a YouTube channel. You need Braxton, but you check him out on
you doing,
Twitter. What's your
Braxton?
handle? Yeah, it's true.
YouTube channel. He's gonna talk about phones. He's gonna do phone reviews.
Braxton, do you want to share your handle on Twitter? Leviathan.
026. Yeah, follow me. I really don't post anything. I just like retweet like politics and phones and Star Trek. Yeah. that's
Nice.
it. I had so much
And
fun,
then-
guys. Thank you.
And then, I forgot to mention, well, check out PJ's media reviews and Boatwreck. Boatwreck's the Star Trek channel, and PJ's media reviews is his everything else channel.
I guess you can if you
and-
want.
Yeah, and his competing channel, which is called Absolute Bullshit True Greatness, which Toddy created. So that's another.
And
channel
and me
that
and
we-
you are on there too, and we're going to be discussing Soul.
Soul
Yeah,
on
Soul, yes.
Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
is it
fun.
Sunday?
Okay.
Is the discussion on Sunday, Toddy?
I haven't seen it yet, so don't say anything.
Well, yeah, we're discussing Soul Saturday at like 11
Saturday.
a.m. Because
That's right, that's right.
Sunday. Sorry, you're right.
Sunday.
Because
yeah.
we're trying to get Gary on. If you guys want to see the movie and then join us, you're absolutely welcome.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Awesome.
non-Star Trek, that channel.
Very, very cool. And then, of course, check out Starfleet Boy After Dark tomorrow. We're gonna stop doing these.
Which is
Thursday
the greatest
streams.
show on YouTube, by the way. I must
That's
say.
true. That's
Yes,
true.
thank you.
It really is.
There are some really cool, weird guest stars you would not expect. We have George Lucas as a frequent guest.
It's true.
Orson Welles from Beyond the Grave has.
Oh, okay.
Saoirse Ronan. Don't
Yeah.
forget
Sure,
Saoirse
sure,
Ronan.
yeah.
Samuel
Churches
Elliott.
hasn't been on in a while. It's true. It's true. There's a lot of good guests on Starfleet Boy After Dark.
I
It's
get
totally
drunk
true.
and then get in fights with these people.
Yes.
We need more people that can do good impressions, so we can do like.
So it's not just
No.
one-sided.
Dude, don't let your grandma listen to Starfleet
Oh,
Boy After
yeah.
Dark,
By the way,
dude.
Starfleet Boy
Very
After Dark
mature, dude.
X-rated.
is
X-rated.
NC. It's actually NC-17 is the true rating for Starfleet Boy After
I don't
Dark.
know. YouTube would have a different perspective on that. X-rated, not for
It's
children.
rated NCC 1701.
Oh, NCC 17. I like that. If that's not if that's not somewhere on there, it needs to be. You guys got to get that in the interface.
Yeah.
NCC 17. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this was great. Well, you guys, thank you again. Live long and prosper. And I was trying to say we're not going to have Thursday streams. We're going to have some special mini content going forward until the next Star Trek Thursday
You
show
assume
comes
that.
back. I could be doing it. It doesn't have to be you. You
Oh,
assume.
I'm so
All right.
bad at it. I'm bad. Oh, I'm
Oh,
bad.
get
There
it,
we
get it, get it. There